Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. This is Sam Evans and this is the Electric Singularity. Great to have you. Now, the Chinese Auto Show in Shanghai showed some seriously impressive cars from Chinese automakers, in particular from BYD. I believe the EA1 is going to completely change the world, and it's going to convert many of the people who are not yet converted to buying an electric car. I believe we're at the beginning, or maybe we're on the precipice of something incredible. And BYD, as well as Tesla, are going to take us to that next level, maybe even Volkswagen, where we have mass market acceptance of electric vehicles. But not only that, we have price parity, or the media keeps talking about price parity. However, I believe within 24 months, electric vehicles will be cheaper. Many of them will be cheaper than their ICE counterparts. And that will dramatically change the market. Now, guys, if you're in the market for a car now, for heaven's sake, don't go buy a new petrol or diesel gas vehicle. You're going to lose a metric shit ton of money, because it's going to be like buying a Nokia or a BlackBerry, an expensive Nokia or BlackBerry. All of a sudden, out comes the new iPhone, and everybody says, yeah, that's old school now. So we're at a point where that's about to happen. So my recommendation is, if you really need a new car now, just buy a used car. If you can't afford an electric car right now, because obviously we don't have a whole lot of choice in many markets, buy a used car, wait for an electric car to come out. Now, obviously, this is actually realistic right now because BYD are bringing out cars to Australia and Norway. They're going to cost either equal or less than their petrol, diesel, ICE counterparts. So this is the real thing. This is not just talk. This is real. Now, getting back to the motor show, there were some really cool cars from Chinese companies. You've got to be impressed with some of the designs. I mean, they've hired designers from Audi and from other big brand car designers, and clearly those designers are doing a good job. Look at the BYD Han. That is a really good looking car. So on the other side, there were some absolutely wacky vehicles. You've got to admit, especially that Volkswagen Beetle kind of copy. There were some truly wacky looking vehicles. Now, through this video, I'm going to show you some of the weirdest production cars and concepts at the first major auto show in Shanghai since 2019. Can you believe it's been 2 years since we've had a worldwide motor show? Thanks for that, coronavirus. Anyhow, at this year's Tokyo Motor Show, although it was just cancelled, joining the 2020 New York, Geneva, Paris, Detroit, and Beijing no-shows, but that didn't stop Shanghai from going ahead, fortunately. As expected, the first major auto show since 2019 hosted its usual array of weird and wonderful production cars and concepts, including many from established US, European, and Asian car makers. Some of these included the Audi A6 e-tron, the Lexus ES, and the LFZ, the Ford Evos, the Genesis G80 EV, the Honda SUV E prototype, the Mazda CX-30 EV, which we've all already seen before anyway, the Mercedes-Benz EQB, the Mitsubishi Airtrek EV, the Toyota BZ4X, and the Volkswagen ID.6. A number of Chinese brands also showed wares that could become relevant to Australians, including the GWM Baja Snake pickup, which GWM bizarrely claimed was worked on by Shelby in America, and then Shelby claimed that they knew nothing about the car. Anyhow, the Haval Cybertank 300 SUV, which I believe is coming to Australia, and the Lincoln Co. 09, which hopefully comes to Australia. Indeed, the 19th running of China's other biennial auto show played host to the birth of new auto brands, including BAIC's Arcfox, Evergrande's Hengqi, which revealed no fewer than 9 SUVs, MPVs, and sedans, Dongfeng's Free, and SAIC GM's Wuling Fighting, and BYD Vali. Now, guys, I'm certain that I didn't pronounce those correctly, but you get the point. This list is far from finished there, however, with a plethora of dazzling domestic market creations making their debut at Auto Shanghai in 2021. Here are just some of the wacky designs and Chinese knockoffs that emerged in the Middle Kingdom this week. The Aura Punk Cat, which, as I said before, is the Volkswagen Beetle lookalike. Pretty sure Volkswagen's going to have some issues with the design of this vehicle being a clear copy of their car, but anyway, it's pretty cool. Revealed alongside the Lightning Cat, the Punk Cat is an unashamed reincarnation of the original Volkswagen Beetle from GWM's Chinese EV brand Aura. The Aura Punk Cat's unmistakable body is adorned with LED headlights and taillights, fitted with an unspecified EV powertrain and aimed specifically at female buyers, with a pink, green and gold interior and even flowers painted on the dash. Next, the Hongqi L concept. This thing is either truly cool or truly bizarre, depending on who you ask. It looks something like a cross between the Batmobile and the Mercedes Maybach, and is festooned with cobweb-like exterior graphics. The L concept comes from China's oldest car manufacturer, Hongqi. The big all-black show car has only 3 seats, 1 at the front and 2 at the rear. So obviously you'd have your chauffeur drive you around in luxury. And it has a chandelier hanging from the roof, but there's no steering wheel in this fully autonomous vehicle. Obviously, guys, it isn't really fully autonomous, but they're previewing what the future could look like. Next up, we've got the Geely Ying L. At first glance, this new SUV from Geely looks quite Volvo-esque up front, which is perhaps no surprise since the Chinese giant owns the Swedish carmaker these days. But on closer inspection, there are also design hints from Genesis, Audi, and Volkswagen, I think. Now, this car is equipped with level 2 autonomous driving capability and an unmanned automated valet system. The all-wheel drive Geely Xingyu is powered by a 160 kilowatt turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. Geely says its new super premium and refined SUV will be launched in China in coming weeks before being exported to other markets in the near future. I'm hoping that they electrify this vehicle, as I don't see it has much of a future if it is ICE powered. Guys, next up, we've got the Wuling Hongguang Mini EV Cabrio concept. This is seriously a bizarre little car, but I really like it. It's quite cool. Looking really a lot like a smart cabrio is this cute new convertible version of the electric Hongguang Mini City Car. Initially only available in China, the tiny 2-seat open EV is apparently scaled for production in 2022. It's really quite a practical car too. I mean, if you look at the shape and size, you could park that almost anywhere. Next, we have the, I have no idea how to pronounce this, Ro Yujing concept. This was brought to you by the giant state-owned SAIC, the same company that owns MG Motor and LDV. The Ro Yujing is one of the wackiest concept SUVs I've ever seen. Its name, Jing, translates to whale, which is a theme clearly carried throughout its design. From the huge vertically cut grille up front to its sloping silhouette, including a roofline that tapers off to the boot lid spoiler, it actually looks like a large sea mammal. So far, there are no details on what will power this SUV. However, sources suggest it'll use a plug-in hybrid or a conventional internal combustion powertrain as opposed to a fully electric setup. That said, a related model is tipped to be underway and set to offer full EV power, but won't come with the same polarizing design as the Jing. The Jing is due on Chinese roads later this year, with production versions set to look very similar to the concept on show in Shanghai. Now guys, there is going to be a huge slate of cars being built and released in China over the next 6 months. Now, I believe that the auto market is going to dramatically shift, and the Chinese manufacturers, because of price, and also because they're starting to really modernize their cars, are going to start taking a huge market share. in the global automotive industry. Obviously, people want EVs, but they want them at a price they can afford. Now, obviously, Tesla is doing their best to reduce prices, but Tesla can't come anywhere near close enough to satisfying global demand for vehicles. They'd need to be building another 10 factories over the next 12 months to come even near close to having 50% of the market. So they're doing well, but Tesla needs help, and Chinese car companies are on their way. Check out some of my BYD videos showing you just how big a change the Australian market and the market in Norway, I believe, is going to have over the next 6 months as we see these cars come to our market. Now, in Australia here, one of the top selling vehicles over the last few months has been the MG, an unknown brand in Australia, MG SUV. And to be honest, this surprised me. It's still priced at around $43,000, but it's been a huge seller in Australia. Obviously, MG is owned by Geely, I believe, in China. Correct me, guys, if I'm wrong in the comments. And really, it's been a shock to the market here at just how much support there is for EVs. Now, recently in Australia, there have been some new incentives for EVs. So EVs are going to take off here. Obviously, in America, the Biden administration looks set to announce $10,000 ZEV credits, tax credits for EVs that are made in America. This, you can imagine, will have a huge impact on EV demand in America. Just imagine being able to buy a Model 3 for, say, $30,000, a Model Y for $35,000. That brings those cars at a price that most people can afford. Guys, thank you for watching the video. Please remember to subscribe, support the channel. I really appreciate you supporting the channel. It helps me to make more videos and to really put more effort and time into the research I put into these videos. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.